Good morning! How is everyone? Are we good? I hope so. All right. A couple good mornings already. Hi, George. I didn't see your hand the other day, so I'm sorry. Okay. Today we're going to use the same color that we used for the outline, which is color 1043. It's like the yellowy kind of light green. And we're going to fill in these here. So the first thing we're going to do is a whipped backstitch. So it's just like a backstitch, but we're going to whip it for the stems. And then for the leaves, we're going to do a different kind of satin stitch where all the stitches go down in the same hole. So it makes almost like a fan kind of situation. It looks really pretty. We're going to use 3 strands. So let's get started. Okay, so the whipped backstitch, like I said, is just like the regular backstitch. Where's my scissors? Here they are. Except we're going to whip it. And what I mean by whip it is we're going to slide our needle under each stitch to smooth out the stitches. So this is really perfect for, I said 3 strands, but I think I'm going to do 4 just because I feel like with all of these thick lines, if I do 3, it might look really... it's like too thin and dainty. So I'm going to do 4. I lied. It's 4 strands. Hi. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so it's 4 strands of the light green. And then we'll just fill up the little ends there. Just doing a little knot. Hi. Okay, so the first part is super easy. You just do a backstitch. And we've done the backstitch before. For the last one, we did it like from every point where the leaves touched, that was 1 stitch. But for this, we don't have to worry about that because we're gonna whip it all anyways. So actually, it doesn't really matter like how far apart they are, because do you remember over here I kind of said that if you make them from leaf to leaf like that, it almost makes it look like it's just like a 1 straight line, whereas over here, because we're going to whip it, it doesn't really matter. So we're going to smooth out all of those lines. So where you start is a little bit important because we're going to go all the way up and then all the way back down the same one. So if you need to put your knots like in a specific area to make sure that they don't interfere with other things. For example, if I put the knot up here, then actually I still have to put a lot of things through this point here. See? So all of these things here might mess up if I put the knot there. So sometimes you have to be a little bit strategic with your stitches. So I'm trying to make them all about the same length, but if some are a little bit longer, it's okay. This is the first part. And of course, you can use different colors for this if you want to, if you don't want to use this bright color. I know a couple people said that it wasn't their favorite color when they were doing the outline of this. So it's totally fine if you want to have a different kind of vibe to this one. You can use one of the other colors, or you can just not use this one. Hi. And the video from yesterday and the video from Friday, I just had to pause the upload onto YouTube because I had to do the video. So they should be up right after this. Okay. Is that right? I feel like this one possibly goes all the way. I'm gonna do this one all the way to the very top because that looks weird. How's your laptop doing? It's working, actually. So yesterday, what happened was I was like, I'm a little bit thirsty, so I'm gonna make myself a tea. And I said, my congestion is almost gone, so that's perfect. And I will make a ginger honey tea. It's like a Chinese, Korean thing, you know. It comes in a big jar, and you just put 2 little spoonfuls in with some hot water and mix it up, and it's like very, very gingery. And I did that, mix it with the water, and I was like, I'm going to list the stick and stitch designs, so if people want to buy them, they can. And I started listing them, and my phone rang, and when I went to go pick the phone up, I knocked over the thing of tea I just made, and I was like, oh my gosh. Why did I just do that? This is a bad idea. Okay, pause the story because we've got to the end. All right, here we go. So we've done our back stitch all the way to the very top. Might have improvised a little bit on the pattern, but that's okay. We'll just do it. So what we're going to do now, let me just zoom in a little bit more so you can see exactly what I'm doing, is you need to choose if you're going to go from right to left or left to right. I'm going to do right to left because I'm right-handed. It'll be a little bit quicker for me. So you're going to come right back up at the very end here, and you're going to slide your needle underneath each of the stitches. So you're not going through the stitches. You're not going through the fabric. You're just sliding your needle underneath. Now, if you choose right to left, you're going to go right to left every single time. So you can't go right to left and then left to right for the next one, and then right to left for the next one. That's confusing. So you're going to pick a direction and keep going that way. So here we go. Right to left. Pull it down. Okay, now go back to the right. Right to left, just under the stitch. We don't want to snag any of the other stitches, and we don't want to actually go through the fabric or through the thread. Okay, we're just going right under it. So again, right to left. So you can already see, as I'm doing this, how the whipped back stitch almost looks like a stem stitch, kind of, because it's got that like twisty kind of look to it. Whereas the back stitch, regular back stitch, you can see every single stitch. And here it's like covering the stitch holes up. So this is always great if you want to do like lettering or something like that with a really light color, because with the lighter colors, my goodness, should have drank some water before I came on here. Instead, I just chugged a coffee. With the lighter colors, you can really see each and every stitch, like boom, 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 it's there. But with the darker colors, just a regular back stitch, they all kind of blend together, so you don't actually see them so well. I'm just trying to see if I have okay, how about this one? This was a pattern from last January, not 2020, but 2019. So it's this one. I used all my scrap threads for it, but you can kind of see how the darker colors here, I only used backstitch, but the darker colors, they tend to kind of go together and you can't really see each individual stitch so well. I mean, I can because I used all 6 strands, so they're quite chunky. But for the lighter colors, like yellow, it's like boom, 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 boom. You can see every single stitch really, really clearly. So, or like this one. Yeah, you can just see them more clearly, or even this light purple. But like the L here, they almost kind of blend together a little bit. So it's almost like that illusion of like the black makes you look slimmer and white makes you look bigger, which I don't know if that's actually true or not, but the black you can't really see, or the darker colors you can't really see the individual stitches so well, whereas the white ones you can't, the light ones you can. So it's really great for that if you want to cover them up a little bit. So every so often I like to give it a little tug, and then I put my rub it on the curve to make sure that it's not too tight or pulling in some kind of way. So there we go. So I used 4 strands for this. The reason I don't like to use the full 6 when I'm doing something like whipped back stitch is because we go up all the way and then we go right back down. So actually you're getting like double the amount of thread. So it's like 8 strands because we're stitching it and then we're whipping it. And because of that, it's like double. It's a little bit thicker than if you were to just use one go and not whip it. I think anyways. Okay. So you don't want to pull it too tight, because if you're going to pull it too tight, it starts to get a little bit too like constipated, I guess. Okay, so just like all the other days, I'm going to do the leaves on this one next because I don't want to do all the stems and then you guys go, okay, well, I've already done mine. How do you do the leaves? So let's do a couple leaves and then we can just stitch the rest of the time. Adjusting my shirt. Okay, let's go. All right, now what I said about the leaves is that all of the stitches are going to go down into the one hole. So for this one, it's not like a fishbone stitch. It's not like a real satin stitch. It's just like a nice way to like jazz up some leaves, you know? Maybe I'll just have the whipped stem stitch and no petals. The satin stitch tested me yesterday. So much unpicking. So this one's actually easier because all the stitches go in the same hole. Okay? So you're just going to move down a little bit each time. So I like to go down the middle. You're not going to have so many. So down the middle and do one on each side. So you're going to go a little bit lower because we want to have that tip at the top. Yeah? Same hole. Okay, this one also on the other side. Down, same hole. Okay, and then back to the left side, a little bit lower. Same hole. Yes. And then finally the other side. So you can do 5 stitches or 7 stitches or 9 stitches, but it's normally it's an even number, 1 on each side. Okay, if you wanted to do an extra one to kind of make it look a bit more full on the bottom, you can do that too. So that would make this one have 6 stitches all through the same hole. Totally up to you how many you actually do. Okay, so let's do the next one. And I'm going to go straight over this, stitch right over top of this here. So again, 1 down the center. So these are really simple. I'm not, like I said, they're not really satin stitch because they're just not. They're just like a nice way to like make some jazzed up leaves. And if you're like, I don't like the look of these, Tori, what can I do instead? You can do a regular satin stitch, meaning they are right down the middle and parallel. So let me pull this through and then I'll draw on one. So you can go straight down the middle like this and make them, just fill them in straight I probably wouldn't do any kind of like fishbone stitch or anything like that because those are more of like an intricate left-right situation. And we're going to do those for there because they're nice, wide, chunky leaves. And they tend to look better on those instead of like the long, thin ones. Yeah, when you start to overlap the different plants and it really gives you like a background, foreground, middle ground kind of situation. You know, looks like you didn't just trace 4 flowers and stitch them in a row, you know? It looks like an actual scene, like in a real greenhouse, you know? Oh, I love it. I also love it. Yeah, so these are quite fun. And there's lots of variations on these little ones. Like sometimes you can start halfway and kind of do one in the middle and then move down and do 2 more and then move down and do 2 more and move down and do 2 more. Sometimes they're like that, but with something that's this small and thin, I don't like to put too many details in this. I just like to have like the suggestion of so yeah, the leaves go quite quickly because there's not a lot of stitches here. And there's not a lot of thinking either. It's literally just put all your stitches down the same hole here. So it's kind of like boom, boom, boom. And again, I'm using the same, obviously the same color, didn't change, but the same number of strands. So I've just got 4 strands. It's an indication, as Bob Ross would say. Yes. Have you put your plants out yet? I'm still not sure we won't get more snow. I have not. My zucchini plants are like, they're so long and they're like, it's so hard to describe, but they're basically like, please. I've got nothing left in me. Please take me out. Okay, it looks like this here, this flower, it belongs to this leaf and this leaf. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 for that. So just 2 more for this one. Four strands, yeah. And I do say all the strands in the description. So if you ever come in late and you're like, oh, I don't know, just wait for the video to be done and they're all in the description. So the color number, and it's on YouTube as well. The color number and the strands and everything. So they're always there if you want to, yeah, limping towards the window. That's literally what they're doing. She goes, mine are doing that. Yeah, they're just getting quite big. I have a feeling maybe on Thursday, because I think tonight it's meant to be quite cold. Again, like in Celsius, 0 or -1. And in Fahrenheit, that's like 32 or 30. So yeah, I'm probably going to wait until the nighttime is above freezing. And I don't know if that's right or not. I just don't want him to die. My blueberry plant is not doing very good. But he's also in a container with another plant. So I might have to scoop him out and put him in a different plant and be like, grow, please. He just looks a bit pathetic. He's like, ooh. Okay, so let's get some more thread and continue on. So I'm using 4 strands. I like to make my thread the same length as the previous one. So I take the 2 strands from before and put them together and then cut them the same length. And then I can take the 2 strands that are left over from this one and add it to the 2 strands left over from this one to make 4 strands. And then I have a new bit, you know? So then I don't have to like continually have 2 strands laying around. top tip for today. I think we're gonna get, well, our Mother's Day was March, so spoiled that. But I think your Mother's Day is in May, isn't it? May something? Or June? Or May? I think it's in May. Robin says, here in the States, Grandma always said not to plant any outdoors plants until after Mother's Day, but I'm not sure if that's right or not. Well, you've killed all your plants, so I don't know if I'll be taking advice from you, babe. That's my mom, so I'm allowed. That just made me laugh. Yeah, I think they say, like, wait until it's not freezing out anymore. I knew she'd laugh at that. But again, I don't know. I never made, like, seedlings like that. Like, for real. I'm sure I did in, like, school or something. I don't know if they ever grew. Nag has to clout till May be out, as they say in Scotland. Oh, so maybe it is a thing. So do I have to wait until May? Yes, Mother's Day is May and Father's Day is June in the US. I live in New York and we wait until mid-May to plant outdoors. Huh. So maybe I need to just keep them on the windowsill. Oh my gosh, they're like outgrowing their boxes though. Maybe I need to plant them again. Don't cast a clout until May is out. Never knew if that meant the month or the blossom. And stitches all day, yes. Also, love your handle, pal. Yeah, so I'm actually from Ohio. I just live in England. So I have to remember 2 Mother's Days because obviously Mother's Day here, we've got to do something for my mother-in-law. And then Mother's Day in America is for my mother. But I always get them mixed up. You'd think that because I have a business, I would know. But honestly, I write it on the calendar and then forget about it. So when I open the May one, I'll be like, oh, it's Mother's Day soon. Ugh. I'm the worst. I think these are so pretty. The whipped back stitch is so close to the stem stitch in that it looks very similar. I should do another stitch quiz. There is a stitch quiz in my highlights, but if you've already answered it, then the answers will already be there. So you can't do it again. Do you know what I mean? In Scotland, it's the month as it has been known in the past to snow into May, but now we have lovely Mays. Yeah, I wonder what the new one would be, like what the new saying would be. But Scotland's colder than where I am in Birmingham, isn't it? Let me just move this up so you can see and not in the comments. Is it a bit more chilly in Scotland? I've never been to Scotland. I've been to Wales, but I don't think I've been to Scotland. We're going to do an embroidery tour when we're allowed to go out again, and be safe for real. And we'll just go everywhere. See everyone, say hi, visit some sightseeing, do some sightseeing. Visit the sites. Leave it to me to mix it all up. Yep, it can be. A road trip, yeah. We're going to have to get like an RV or something. Wouldn't that be so fun though if we like went around and like did a bunch of, I'm gonna tell David and we're gonna plan it. That would be so fun. And watch like no one would come. Miriam says, yeah, it can be a lot colder. That's why I haven't moved back. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we're like in the middle of England where I live, right in the almost in the middle. Embroidery tour. You're invited to Milan if you want. But it's stunning. You definitely should go see Scotland. The scenery and wildlife is so good. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say it's like such a beautiful place. So maybe when we're allowed to do stuff and it's safe. Obviously, in the summer, if we're allowed to go, hopefully we can go to the States and see my family, because that'll be fun. And then after that, we're doing it. We're meant to be going to the Isle of Wight at some point. I'm not sure if this is how this pattern is meant to be fair. But I've done it this way just now, so if yours looks a little different, don't worry about it. I only made the pattern, okay? All right, and then for the bottom part here, we can either go straight across if you have faith in your, let's move it down so you can actually see that. If you have faith in your satin stitch skills to make them nice and straight across there. Or you can go one down the middle and kind of all through the same hole like we've been doing and make them like that. So either way is fine, whichever way you decide. I tend to like this way a little bit better because it looks like it's like coming out of the stem, if you know what I mean. But I just thought I'd say that because I didn't actually finish the first one when I said, oh, I'll finish them all. I'll finish one completely. And then if you want to go, then you can go. And then I didn't do that. So leave it to me. Yeah, okay, so back to the laptop thing. After a couple people said to dry it off as best as I could and then leave it to dry in a warm place upside down for as long as you can. So I did it until this morning, and then I turned it back on this morning, and it seems to be all right. So fingers crossed I don't have to get another one, because I really don't want to be begging for people to buy my embroidery patterns and stitch-alongs for the next however long to buy a new laptop or to buy like a desktop or whatever. But to be fair, I did buy that one in 2011. And it's now 2011 and it's still going strong. So fair play to it. It's a bit slow, but that's probably because it has no storage left. It's filled with embroidery patterns. And photos of like the last 10 years. Huh. Wonder what that was. My luck, it'll be like a mirror about to fall off the wall or something. Or oh. Okay, and then let me put these 2 and 2 strands together to make 4, and I'll hit these little guys at the little triangle tips there. Can you believe this finishes on Friday? Like, we're literally almost done, and we only have 1 flower to do still. Well, 2 flowers technically, but 1 kind of flower. Isn't that amazing? We've done so much in just 10 days. I've been stitching the advanced Stitchalong pattern, and I don't know if you guys are going to hate it or love it, because it's definitely going to be something where I show you a little bit, and then you can have, like, you stitch it in your free time, because there's no way you can do, like, 1 day and it's complete it. You know, like how we've, like, done this section in 1 day. Like, there's no way we can do that for this one, because some of the things are just too big. So I don't know. Getting nervous now, because normally I like to see a little bit completed in 1 day, you know, just to be like, yeah, I finished it. So we'll see. I'm having doubts now. Oh my gosh. Okay, so for these ones, I like to do 1 down the middle and try and start at the top, because if you do 1 down the middle, if we do 1 down the middle and you put your knot there, like I showed you before, you're going to have all of your strands coming down around that knot, and it's going to really give you a headache. So try, if you can, to get it as close as you can here. And then we can do the same thing as the leaves. So to put them all kind of close in the same hole, like that. It sounds interesting. I'd be interested in it for sure. So yesterday I did the background, which would be an optional thing if you wanted to do it, because it didn't take ages, but it kind of did. And then I did the 1 big plant to the left, behind the chair. And that took me all day. So there we go. I think it looks really nice, but if you want to go sideways, you can go sideways too. So don't feel like, oh, I have to do it the same way. Like try a different way if you want. Loving those flowers. Thanks, Kirsty. They're so cute, aren't they? I finished these this morning because yesterday I only did one flower in the allotted time. Let's just do 1 more here. They're so cute. And then we'll do this. I'll show you all of them, and then I'll show you what I stitched yesterday for the advanced pattern. It's going to be so fun. I really am excited for it, but I'm just worried that people are going to get worried that they're not. I'm worried that people are going to get worried that they can't finish what we've done in that day, you know? And then people are like, I'm so behind. And like, actually, it's going to be a stitch along where everyone's going to be behind every day. So I'm just worried about that. So simple, but they're so cute, aren't they? Okay, and then I think this one, I'm going to make this one go here because he only has 1 leaf up there. So if you need to reposition them in any kind of way, then just do it. Just remember, we're not stitching through any of the black threads. We're trying to go around them. So if you stitch in there, then it might just short the straight line a little bit. So notice I'm always trying to go around them. So I'm either doing a stitch above or below, never going like directly through them. Ooh, I'm far behind. That's totally fine. It's okay. Like, all the videos are saved, so you're actually never behind. You're just doing it at your own pace. And Kirsty says, plus you save all the videos anyway. Everyone can finish up at their own pace and switch it up. Stitching should be fun. Don't stress it. Yes. Yeah, and like if you feel like you're getting stressed, then you need to stop. Because it's not something that you should be like, oh my God, I'm so behind. I need to get this done right now, because the actual quality of your stitching is not going to be as good as if you just took your time and did it at your leisure and didn't stress about it. Indeed. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. That's when you mess it up. I know, I get cocky. When you're like, oh, I know this one. I'm just going to go balls to the wall and get it done. That's when you're like, oh, she had other plans. Stay humble. Well, that's just going to live there because I don't want to take it off. Oh. My needle is in the brick. Graceful. Back on track. So true. There's enough in the world to stitch about not stitching. Yeah, like it's supposed to be like a stress reliever, not like a, oh my God, you know? Just go at your own pace. There must be a knot around here because I can feel it. Okay. And with this last stitch, I'm done. Done for today. So we'll do the little pistil things later. Pollen things or whatever they're called. When we do the French knots, because we are going to do French knots. I've got a very good way to do French knots that I know that you can do. So we'll do some French knots on French Knot Day, and that will also be the day that we close everything up. So that will be Friday. What's the idea behind using those washing pins? Do you mean the pegs? These. So for me, having the flat, really thin cardboard or plastic ones, when you wrap it around, they tend to get kinky, like your thread gets kinky. So when you wrap it around these, they don't get kinky. So maybe that's something that we need to think about, Kirsty, with our idea. Possibly. So there we go. That's it. I told you I'd show you the thing I worked on yesterday. So here she is. So I did all of the background and I did this here. So yeah, that took me all day, like literally all day. And I spilled some of my tea on it and you can see it started to like dissolve here and here. And I spilled my tea all over this on the outside. So I had to leave it dry for a little bit, but yeah, that's what I've got. I think it'll look really nice, but it was a little bit like, I'm going to have to stitch over some parts. So they're not French knots, they're just little X's. See? But it helps to tack them down. yeah, so I'm excited. It'll be good. I think it'll be good. But I'm still worried, you know? I just want everyone to have a good time. And I'm worried that people are going to be like, oh, this is not fun. So we'll see. We'll see. But that's all I've got for today. I finished all of it, 40 minutes. So that's good. I'm pretty sure David wants to have a McDonald's breakfast this morning. So I'm going to cut it off here. Be sure to tag me at the Barmy Fox. Use the hashtag the Barmy Fox, SAL. You can also tag Anchor Crafting, and use the hashtag Anchor Threads, Anchor Crafts, and Anchor Crafting. So hope you've enjoyed our little swirly whirly stems, and we're almost done. I cannot wait to see you tomorrow. And yeah, have a lovely day. All right, bye.